everyone, I'm Katie, voice actor, audiobook narrator, childless cat lady, and dragon slayer next door.
And I'm Ivy. I'm a wife, a mom, a kitty, as my granddaughter calls me, and also an audiobook narrator, a personal assistant, and a podcaster.
Oh yeah, I forgot, I'm a podcaster
Katie's a podcaster too.
Welcome to Toxic Waste of Time, the podcast where we discuss relationships with everything and break it down to non-toxic, toxic-ish, or a toxic waste of time. We have little mini relationships with everything we encounter, from our relationship with toothpaste to the cracks in the sidewalk. Do you step on them or still worry your mother's back might break? All the way to our relationship with the pillow we sleep on. People, places, beliefs, just random things. Which ones are strong and healthy, and which ones are just a toxic waste of time?
I do think about my mother's back when I walk.
You do?
I do. When I try to not step on cracks. My mother has had a broken back. I don't think it correlated with my walking. Anyway.
It's your fault.
Uh-huh. In our first episode of Season 2 of our podcast, formerly known as Bad Boss Detox, we're diving into toxicity itself. Hope you've got your hazmat suits ready.
Yeah, but first, a little icebreaker. We're going to spin the wheel of weird relationships.
Katie, spin that wheel.
Ivy, what's your relationship with divorce?
Oh, I don't really have a relationship with divorce, Katie. I've never had one. My parents never had one. But when I was in the 7th grade, all of my friends' parents got divorces.
Yeah.
It was it the 8th grade? No, it was the 7th grade. I mean, they came one
That's
after.
the worst time to do it.
It was like one friend after another. When I was little, I had one friend who had divorced parents. Maybe 2. It was just not a thing that happened in the 70s as much, and I only recently learned all the ins and outs of why. Turns out it wasn't because marriages were perfect. Yeah, but yeah, my parents never got divorced. Probably should have a few times, but I don't really have a relationship with it other than I don't want one.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I just got married, so...
Your parents never got divorced either, right?
My parents never got divorced. They were together just under 50 years, I think. My grandparents were together for, like, a long-ass time. So my family hasn't really had much of that. My uncle has been divorced, I think, 3 times. Maybe. More than once.
Both of my brothers have been divorced.
Yeah.
Of course, my husband's parents were divorced.
My husband's parents are divorced too.
My grandparents, my mother's parents got divorced, but were getting back together when my grandfather died.
Oh.
But he was extremely abusive, and the divorce was long overdue by the time they got it.
Yeah. Well, guess that was one we didn't have a lot to say about. But my husband... his parents got divorced when he was like 5 years old. And so I was just maybe a little surprised that he was like a marriage person, you know, that he wanted to get married. Because I guess they say that a lot of kids from divorced families or kids whose parents get divorced when they're really young, that they're just like not interested in marriage at all because they don't have a positive example of that, you know. So... Well, Jody, I don't think that that's necessarily true with him.
My husband's parents were divorced and had he had terrible relationships with everybody. And he married me as a child, and that was, I think, important to him to have someone to love him.
Yeah.
You know?
That may have been the case with Sean, too, that he was like, no, I'm like, when I get married, it's going to be one person forever. That's it, you know. And that's how I feel, too. Like, I'm not going to get married just to get divorced later.
Right.
It's never the plan.
Well, who was it? Yeah. It might have been one of my brothers. They said, well, if it doesn't work out, we'll just get divorced. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's as easy as you think.
It's not the same as when I say if I forget it, I'll buy it when I go on vacation and I have packing anxiety. If it doesn't work, we'll just get divorced.
Yeah, no. He doesn't even like me making jokes about getting divorced, you know. Like if he does something minimal, like, I don't know, forgets to bring me something from the store that he said he was going to get. And I'm like, okay, well, here's your divorce papers. He's like, I don't even want to joke about that.
No, it was not allowed. The word was not to be spoken in my household when I was younger. It was not allowed.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, like it wasn't funny. It wasn't, I want a divorce was not okay to say.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh. Weird icebreaker, but sure.
Divorce. Is it toxic? Is it non-toxic? Is it toxic-ish?
I don't know. I don't have a toxic relationship with it because I don't have a relationship with it. But I feel like it depends entirely on the situation. For one of my friends who has been divorced, for her, getting divorced was the best thing she ever did because her marriage was toxic. Mm-hmm. But, not everybody feels that way.
Right. I think I have a toxic relationship with divorce only because I don't like it. I think, I don't like that people become toxic. I think that I think that if you make a commitment to somebody to love them, because I don't believe that love is necessarily just a feeling, it's a choice. Mm-hmm. And you've made a commitment to love somebody, I think that you at least should do everything in your power to save that relationship. And if it's unsavable, then I'm glad there's such a thing as divorce because a lot of people need one.
Sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. At our wedding, our officiant, who is my best friend, Joshi, was our officiant.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. He said, as long as you both shall love in our vows.
Oh.
Instead of live. He said, as long as you both shall love. And I remember thinking, oh, I guess that's probably a more pleasant way to put it. I
like that.
Yeah, he did such a good job with that. I was just, everything he said just was like perfect. It was so sweet.
I say daughter-in-love instead of daughter-in-law.
You do. You do, and I like that.
So the dictionary defines toxic as containing or being poisonous material, especially when capable of causing death or serious debilitation, exhibiting symptoms of infection or toxicosis. My favorite, extremely harsh, malicious, or harmful.
Way harsh.
And the last one, relating to or being an asset that has lost so much value that it cannot be sold on the market.
Well, that last definition sounds boring, Ivy. Sounds like you're talking about stocks or some shit.
It's houses.
Come on. Mm-hmm. I just want a checklist of what makes a relationship officially toxic so I can send it to my friend whose boyfriend I don't like. That's all I want.
Good idea. Because if he's toxic to you, he must be toxic to her.
Well, as we're about to find out, that may not be the case. And it might be kind of presumptuous of me to say that, but...
Well, I hate to break it to you, Katie, but it turns out it's not as simple as firing up the old Geiger counter and checking the reading. Toxicity in a relationship of any kind is pretty subjective. Everyone is going to have their own definition of what's toxic to them. And that made researching this topic a little tricky.
Yeah. So most of what we hear these days about toxicity is either actual toxic stuff like radiation or poisons that can kill you, or toxic relationships with other humans. But we can have toxic relationships with anything. Maybe you have an addiction. That's toxic. Maybe you hold on to things for unhealthy reasons. That's toxic. Maybe you feel drained and exhausted after doing something that you've just always done. That's toxic. Maybe you've built your entire identity around something or someone, and you know that it's no longer serving you, but you just can't let it go. Well, that's toxic. And letting go can be really, really difficult.
Did you read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo?
I did not read it, but I am familiar, and I've seen a few episodes of her show where she does that.
Oh, I didn't even know she had a show, so I listened to
Yeah.
it. I got the audiobook for free, and I listened to it in Marie Kondo is a Japanese writer who wrote the book in 2011, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, for our listeners. And it says in it that everything in our homes must spark joy. And if it does not, it should be thanked for its service and thrown in the trash. I listened to it in January of 2020. I followed the rules right down to rolling up my nightgowns instead of folding them.
Yeah.
And it was January of 2020. So when the pandemic hit, I was super bored because I already did what everybody in America was doing.
I laughed so hard when I saw that.
Yeah, I literally, I was so excited about it too. I was like, yeah, I'm throwing things away. Just yesterday, I said something about, does it spark joy, to my husband because he made fun of me. So I say I did it, but you can bet that there were things that I did not throw away that do not spark joy.
So you cheated.
Well, I guess I have toxic relationships with some of these things because they absolutely do not spark joy.
Maybe.
So there's reasons, like maybe it was too expensive, maybe it was supposed to be sentimental, maybe I just couldn't get over but I might need it someday thing with a particular item.
Yeah.
Holding on to anything, from that old stinky hat to a grudge towards that girl in the 5th grade who held hands with your crush, can be toxic.
Fucking Bethany. I still hate that little bitch.
Bethany.
God damn it, Bethany. And also, just a side note, research shows that those who keep clean desks are uncreative.
Right.
Just saying. I'm wondering where that study was. But I once had an interview with a probably toxic boss who would decide whether or not to hire a teacher based significantly on the cleanliness of her desk. So, she wanted to know how clean my desk was before she hired me.
Like your desk at home?
No, my teacher desk.
She liked it.
I mean,
so she wanted it clean, not messy.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah, she was really, really type A. And I think I dodged a bullet there because as a creative person, my desk is always, it's not messy, but it's definitely half of this is done and half of that's done and here's a stack of mail. It's not covered in coffee stains and crumbs, but it's got stuff sitting out,
My boss at the gym will stand in front of my very disorganized desk and pick things up and go, what is this? Do you need this? What's this doing here? What is this? What is this? Do you need this? Why is this here?
I do that to my husband.
What is this? Why is this here? And I'm like, can you go away?
I did that. I don't even say anything to him anymore. I walked in his office today and I was talking to him about something else. And I looked over at his dresser, which is not his desk, but his dresser. And I just saw that's definitely trash. That's definitely trash. That's definitely trash. And I just put them in his trash can that was also right there in front of him. It's I just didn't say anything, but I just did that. I feel like I've been the one to pick something up and go, do you need this? Where does this go? And he caught me the other day when I was handing him something and I had to move something else to get to it. And I was looking at it and it was important papers for some reason. And I was and he goes, I know that's not the best place for that, but that's not what we're looking for right now. That's not what we're doing right now. Okay, you got me. You read my mind.
So how do you know if a person in your life might be toxic? According to Dr. Ramani, our old friend, love her,
Yes.
It's important to distinguish toxic behavior from a clinical diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. A lot of people seem to use the terms toxic and narcissist interchangeably. Ramani explains that every narcissist is toxic, but not every toxic person is a narcissist. NPD is objective, and if a person meets all the criteria, they could be diagnosed by a professional as a capital N narcissist.
Right. And we did an entire episode on narcissistic personality traits. So if you are interested in that, go back to season 1 when our podcast was called Bad Boss Detox. And I believe it's episode 3 that's called clocking the narcissistic boss. But we can make our own determination if another person, or thing, as we'll later discuss, is toxic to us. Maybe your coworker, Gerald, is toxic to you because his tone just sets you on edge. You feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time, like he's going to be set off at any moment. But maybe Gerald gets along really well with other people, and they don't seem bothered by that same tone. You may choose to speak to Gerald in private and voice your concerns, but it's definitely not your job to convince everyone in the office that Gerald is toxic and should be canceled. That would kind of make you the problem, actually.
Yep. We don't vibe right with everyone. This is what they call a personality clash. It's okay to stay away from Gerald because he annoys you. That's allowed. You don't have to like everyone, and everyone doesn't have to like you. But Dr. Ramani also pointed out in her video that every one of us is probably toxic on some level in the mind of at least one other person.
Yeah, I can think of a handful of former friends and one ex-boyfriend in particular who probably think I'm toxic as fuck. And I mean, I don't blame him because I broke his heart pretty bad, but I've moved on, and so has he probably.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I don't think about it anymore.
He's sitting in a corner somewhere going, Katie!
He's the one listening to our podcast
Katie!
to sleep. Now, there are varying degrees of toxicity, of course. What about your neighbor, Brenda? You heard her say something low-key racist one time, and now you don't feel safe around her. Fair.
Okay, but to play devil's advocate here, there may be additional context to the comment she made, or you may have misheard or misunderstood. So while it is possible that she's a racist and she sucks, fuck that, it's also not a great idea to take out your feelings on Brenda by leaving a bag of poop on her front porch. Just don't do that. But if you want to set a boundary and not invite Brenda to the neighborhood potluck, that's your right.
Yeah, I mean, there might be like some neighborhood tea after you don't invite her and then Brenda's salty about it. But if she confronts you, you can say, I don't know, that comment you made me feel kind of uncomfortable and I just wanted to have a nice time and didn't want to feel that way.
Well, and then she might say, I was just talking about a comment that I heard. I heard someone make a comment and I was talking about that comment.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, exactly. Not advocating for anybody to make racist comments, but also like, let's not immediately jump to, this person's canceled forever.
Exactly.
So I have a question, Ivy. Okay. So let me tell you a quick story.
Okay.
When I was a teacher, there was this janitor who worked at the school, and he repeatedly said things to me that I felt were inappropriate and made me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Things like, you sure look pretty in that dress, which was not like literally you know what I mean? It was just not the place. Like we were at work. I'm teaching children. I don't want to be hit on in the cafeteria. Okay. And he also asked my friend out several times and she said no. And it was stuff like that. We went to our boss and said, this guy's making us uncomfortable. We want you to know about it. And our boss did nothing. So what do you do in that situation?
And you're sure the boss did nothing at all, like didn't go have a conversation with the janitor and tell him to cool it? You think he did absolutely nothing at all?
I don't think he said anything because he was very defensive. The situation was that it was hard to keep custodians at the school. And so those people that were working there were very valuable to him. Because if we lose the custodians, then everything falls apart, which is true. They're a very important, piece of the puzzle in the school. But protect your teachers. What if he had tried to grab somebody or something?
Well, and it's interesting that we had the conversation that we had about what happened with me at the gym today.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what this story was. So I think that a lot of women now in this climate of all the things going on with pervy old men are more uncomfortable than they once were. So depending on the janitor's age.
He was our age.
Okay, then he was being inappropriate and he knew it. Especially, like, if
This is
he's
not
telling
someone-
you,
right.
you look nice in that dress, that is a compliment. And
But the
maybe
way he
he's
did it-
right. Maybe he's bad at compliments, or he's being a perv. Either way, if it made you, a female, uncomfortable, and the principal, his boss, did not address it at all, then that principal sucks.
Yeah. Well, they may have had a private conversation, but he was not fired.
Firing
should have
isn't
been.
firing. I
Yeah.
don't think firing should always be the first action. I think that if the janitor was making you uncomfortable, he had not done anything other than quote unquote compliment you. Now your friend getting asked out, that's a different
Yeah.
story. But with
Yeah.
you, and the principal said, "Okay, Carl," the janitor, Carl. "Okay, Carl, don't do that again. You're here to do your job. If you want to compliment ladies, go to a bar after work.
Yeah.
Here, you do your job. And if you think someone looks particularly nice today, say it in a way that isn't pervy. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Katie, you look nice today."
You can say that to anyone, but
Yeah.
walking up behind me where I can't see you and getting like right up next to my ear and saying, "You sure look pretty in
No,
that dress."
fired. No,
No.
fired.
That was
Fired.
gross.
No.
Gross. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he may have had a conversation with him and told him to stop, but the behavior continued and he was not fired. So,
Also, there's children in a school. If you left out the walking up behind you and saying it into your ear part.
yeah.
I'm picturing, because I have, I'm Miss Everybody Rainbow and Sunshine rose-colored glasses. I'm seeing him. I'm visualizing Carl from the Breakfast Club, okay? And he's pushing the trash can down the hallway, and there you are, and he says, "Oh, you look nice today. Oh,
Yeah,
that
no,
dress
this was
looks
like he
good on
came
you."
up behind me and
a
scared the
man
shit
walks
out of
up
me.
behind you and surprises you with, "You look nice today." No,
Gross.
no.
No. And like it was frustrating that it wasn't taken seriously. It was frustrating that it wasn't taken seriously the first time that we said something, and that my friend, like, I think that I was very clear with this one janitor in that I am uncomfortable, like, leave me alone, because I kind of froze up and I was like, okay. Thank you, I guess.
I
And, like,
imagine
walked
you'd
away.
have been fired if you turned around and slugged him.
Yeah. But he was a huge man, so that would have been a poor choice. If you want to know if your relationship with someone is toxic, the big questions you should ask yourself are, do you feel safe to be yourself around this person? Do you feel like you're in danger, or is it just low-key irritation? Have other people noticed the problem behavior, and has it become problematic to them? Are you giving more to this relationship than you're getting back?
Also, would you feel comfortable having a conversation with this person about their problematic behavior? Are your boundaries respected by this person? Do you feel supported by this person, or is this relationship a source of anxiety, resentment, or other negativity?
Yeah. I think that one of, are you comfortable having a conversation with this person about their behavior? Because if you're not, then there could be some reasons for that.
Yeah.
It could be
That sounds pretty
that
toxic.
you have a hang up about it, or it could be that they just make you so uncomfortable that being alone in a room with them, it does not sound safe. And if it's the latter, then you need to get HR or somebody else involved, in my opinion.
Well, and also, is this relationship a source of anxiety, resentment, or other negativity? Most relationships are going to cause you some of those things sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to weigh it out. You have to decide if it's always that, or if it's a reasonable amount of anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is, again, one of those lists of, like, if you get maybe one of those red flags, maybe don't freak out. But if you're getting all of them, it's time to do something. In a romantic partner, these questions can get even more complicated. So I think we probably need to do a whole episode on that eventually, Ivy. But for now, if you're worried that you might be in a toxic romantic relationship, check out the quiz on loveisrespect.org. They have a lot of helpful resources there, actually, and I was kind of paging through their site just before we started recording, but it's interesting. I took their quiz, and I got like a 1 out of 30 because there might be one behavior that I was like, that maybe not so healthy. But the rest of them were good.
And
I like to say that my husband is so non-toxic that he's like baking soda.
Well, baking soda might be non-toxic, but it sure tastes like shit by itself.
And if you put it with vinegar, it's gonna bubble.
Yeah, it makes the volcano.
Yeah.
Now, a thing or a place or anything without a brain cannot in and of itself be emotionally toxic. However, we as humans can make any relationship toxic if we try hard enough or if we don't try at all and let things get out of control.
Yeah. I liked how you phrased that. If we try, if we try to make it toxic, we sure can. So, how do we know if we are having a toxic relationship with something rather than someone? Sometimes there will be signs and red flags. Are you taking proper care of yourself? Are you sacrificing other things that matter to you to focus on this one particular thing? Are your friends and loved ones showing concern? Are you neglecting anyone in favor of this relationship with this other thing? Do you ever keep this thing a secret? Do you disregard your loved one's feelings on whatever this thing may be? Are you critical of others that may not share your feelings toward this thing?
These behaviors can lead to a decline in overall physical and mental health over time.
Yeah. There can also be stages of toxicity. Just like in a narcissistic relationship or abusive relationships with humans, they may look like this.
Extreme delight to actual euphoria. In a romantic relationship, we might call this the love bombing phase, or maybe it's just the butterflies in your tummy. But in a non-romantic or even just non-human sense, this is basically the overwhelming excitement you feel. The, oh my God, where has this person, place, feeling, or thing been all my life? There is not a damn thing wrong with feeling delight or joy about something, and sometimes excitement. But as you continue to experience this new whatever it may be, do you start to feel tied down to it? And the crash can be hard, like the parachute cord breaking and you come crashing down to earth at full speed. These extreme feelings are usually not real, which brings us to
denial and or rationalizations, i.e. excuses. And so with every high, you must come back down. Because elation doesn't ever last forever, reality sets in, and we start to see that perfection does not exist. But we cannot show that we realize this. So first, we rationalize to ourselves, then to others. We were so excited. We told everyone. Those red flags waving frantically, we do not see. Nope, I don't see any red flags. What red flags? That's denial.
And then comes disappointment. Well, this sucks. Whatever you had a toxic relationship with became a part of your life, a part of your identity, maybe a part of your family. You gave it your time and your energy, but now you see that it's not good for you. So now what?
Disengagement. It's time to let go. Oh dear, the letting go. We understand that it's what we need to do, but that doesn't make it easy. It's said that it takes up to 8 times trying to actually leave an abusive spouse. And that's the top dog of toxic relationships. And by no means would we ever try to make light of that. Your toxic relationship with toe socks does not even come close. But in any case, the process can still be slow and painful. Quitting a toxic job, quitting a toxic habit, a friend, a lover, activity, belief, no matter what it is, it can be hard to let go of something that became a part of you. Those toe socks cut off your circulation most nights, but you were used to them, and change is hard.
So then there's the frustration. so I'm over it now, right? But how did I ever let myself get that far? Why am I so dumb to have wasted all that time or money or effort? And who am I without toe socks?
You're someone. Toe socks are not you.
No.
You are not the things you like or the people you like.
Exactly.
Next is learning. If we are lucky, we will take a life lesson away from our toxic misfortune. But alas, not everyone will. And not everything leads to a learning moment. Sometimes we just screw up.
Yep.
And the only thing you can learn is don't do that again.
So let's talk for a moment about the stages of a more healthy relationship, Katie.
Okay. First is attraction. Ooh, I love those shoes. Look at the photos of this apartment. Oh, he's really cute. She looks like we could be friends.
Then the attachment. These are the best shoes ever. So comfy. I signed the lease. We have dated for 6 months, and now we're exclusive. That girl I met is now my best friend.
Aw. Next is commitment. This one's self-explanatory. You know what committed means.
Right. And the nurturing. You take good care of those shoes. You keep your apartment tidy and in good repair. You and your boyfriend have a mutual love and respect for each other. You and your best friend don't talk behind each other's back or have secret jealousy issues.
Yeah. Then there's stability. Long-lasting good relationships don't showboat. They don't love bomb. They don't give you blisters or cut off your circulation. That's such a good metaphor. They are supportive and stable, and conflicts are resolved respectfully. You can breathe, you can trust, you can be your own person.
Yep. Sometimes the biggest hurdle in getting rid of something that has become toxic is some rosy retrospection. You know, the good old days, the way things were, nostalgia. We used to love whatever is no longer serving us so much. Our brains do not always have an accurate depiction of how things were in the past. This view can become distorted by relying on how we felt during a given time period. Whether something was always toxic and just wearing a mask, or if it became toxic over time. We still need to learn that it's toxic now and let it go.
But how? How do we break free from the grips of a relationship that we've outgrown or that we always knew we shouldn't be a part of?
Well, starting with realization, Katie, because knowing is half the battle.
That's what the Gen Xers say.
Because that's what G.I. Joe said.
Is that why?
Yeah. The first step in anything is that light bulb moment. My relationship with true crime podcasts is not healthy for me.
So make the decision to either change or end the relationship. Not everything can be okay in moderation, not even cocaine. But some things can. Let's say true crime podcasts are causing you to stress and worry. Maybe you cut out the ones about things that trigger you. Maybe you just listen less, or switch to fictional crime stories that don't hit quite so close to home.
Yeah, I think also, number 3, Katie, create consequences for yourself can be a tough one because it's hard to enforce your own consequences. But you've got to create some consequences for yourself or begin to notice the built-in consequences.
That one's easier.
You're having nightmares or you're scared all the time.
Yeah. Like you and I were talking about on might have been the technology episode about using our phones too much before bed and the consequences of that. Next is number 4, address your feelings. Acknowledge that the change is hard. You may be really used to listening to true crime all day, every day, and you miss it. But you deserve to have peace.
And that brings us to number 5. Also, give yourself some grace in all things. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, life's hard enough. You don't have to make it harder. Number 6, replace what no longer serves you with positive, enjoyable, and healthy interests and pursuits. I mean, I can recommend this one great podcast with these 2 really hot host ladies.
Right.
And every episode, they do them topless, and we haven't even mentioned it yet. We're topless every
we're naked
episode.
from the waist up.
Absolutely. I never wear pants.
So Katie's just naked.
That's not true,
Right.
but maybe it is. You'll never
Yeah,
know.
you don't. Conflict and dysfunction can exist in any relationship, even a healthy one. What defines a toxic relationship is repeated harmful behavior and effects with no effort or intent to change. I'm going to say that one more time.
Yes,
What
do.
defines a toxic relationship is repeated harmful behavior and or effects with no effort or intent to change. In a toxic relationship, dysfunction becomes normalized, accepted, and often hidden from the outside world.
Yes, and that is like the thesis statement of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a repeated harmful behavior with no intent to change. Yeah. So yes, it's possible that you grew up in a toxic environment and that type of behavior became normalized to you. So on some level, your brain is seeking that same situation because it's used to dealing with it. But that pattern can be broken with intention.
Mm-hmm.
Certain people, things, beliefs, and situations in life can trigger us to feel badly about ourselves or engage in destructive behaviors. Identifying the toxic influences in our lives and taking steps to create boundaries or a new life without them can improve mental and physical health drastically over time.
An average of 80% of Americans have experienced some kind of emotional abuse.
That's horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately 3/4 of U.S. employees have or have had a toxic boss, according to a 2018 survey from Monster.com.
We know I have.
Same.
Toxic friends are common. 84% of women, not surprised, and 75% of men report having a toxic friend at some point.
Yeah. Why do you think that it's more for women? Why was that not surprising to you?
Because I've had more toxic experiences with girls than I have with boys, for sure.
Yes, same. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's because women are brought up to see each other as competition.
Absolutely. No, I think that we're changing that now.
Yeah.
But also women are taught to make themselves pretty. And then they have to be the prettiest and competitive with the boys and the makeup and the clothes and the pretty, while boys just get to walk around in their jeans and T-shirts and messy ass hair, and they don't have to put makeup on their faces. It's annoying to me.
I heard a narrator friend call men like that aggressively mediocre. So, really, anything can be toxic depending on the person. Also, any person can be toxic, in the same way that peanuts are completely harmless to someone who's not allergic to peanuts. But if you are allergic, you can die.
Yep.
And this is a good analogy as well, because the way that some joke that someone makes you feel, and someone else is not offended by it at all, it may just be because of some other trigger that you have that has nothing to do with anybody else.
For sure.
Consider why
Right.
things upset you.
Some things just don't mix. Giving up something or someone that is toxic to you can be really hard. But if something is holding you back or holding you down, it's not healthy for you.
Absolutely.
Anything. And like we said earlier, people, places, things, beliefs. One of the most toxic things in my life was my childhood religion and the beliefs that I was forced to have, I want to say.
Yeah. Expected
to have. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got in trouble so it was forced.
Yeah. We always need to be aware of how things are affecting our physical and mental health. Breaking free from anything you have become accustomed to is hard. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience with yourself. But you can do it. And once you do, everyone involved will be better off. So I think I talked a little bit about this book that I read called Detached. It's by an author named Sabrina Alexis Bendori. And it is fascinating. She is really good at explaining why we tend to fall into the same toxic patterns in relationships. So that book is one that I highly recommend to listeners if they want to check it out. And it talks about rewiring neural pathways. Like I mentioned that if you grew up in a toxic home, it might feel comfortable to you to be in a toxic romantic relationship because that's how your dad and your mom yelled at each other.
Well, that's
perhaps.
why those things, they go from generation to generation, because if a woman is raised seeing her mom get treated a certain way and then a man treats her that way, she just thinks it's normal. I had a neighbor once. They had 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl. The 3 boys were in my pool. I was like, where's Sissy? Why isn't Sissy here? She came over later. I said, where have you been? And she just said as nonchalantly as she possibly could, getting the house ready for the lady. And I said, what lady? And she said, the one that comes to make sure we have food and the house is clean. Child Protective Services.
So that was CPS. Oh,
yeah.
dang.
And the way she said it to me.
I thought she meant like a housekeeper or something.
No, she came to me and she said it to me just like, well, everybody gets inspected, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what
Yeah.
toxic households are teaching our children, that toxicity is normal.
Yeah. And that ties back into divorce, actually. If you're in a situation where you are arguing in front of your kids and there's abuse going on and your kids are seeing that, like, it may be the better decision to end that relationship,
even if it's not,
it can get passed on.
Even if it's not a toxic, because some marriages just shouldn't be. It doesn't necessarily mean it's toxic or that either person is toxic, but it is a toxic environment for a child if you continue in that pattern without doing anything about it.
Yes.
Somebody said to me when my husband and I had some marital issues many years ago, she said to me, if mom and dad are not okay, then the kids are not going to be okay. So you've got to get mom and dad okay in order for the kids to be okay. And that has stuck with me forever.
Absolutely. All right. And now it's time for the vocab word of the week.
Woo!
Woo! I found a good one this time.
Excellent.
This week's vocab word is deleterious.
What? Deleterious?
Deleterious.
Okay.
It means harmful, often in a subtle or unexpected way. There's also deleteriously and deleteriousness.
Can you use
But
deleterious in
the
a
adjective.
sentence, please, Katie?
I can, and I did it in a cute way this time. So I put the sentence in white, and now I can highlight it. Okay. So, well, Ivy, it turns out...
you hid it from me.
I did. That's a millennial trick. Well, Ivy, it turns out that holding on to my resentment towards Bethany was far more deleterious than her trying to steal my 5th grade boyfriend ever was. So maybe I should let it go.
Yes. It became
I forgive
toxic
you, Bethany.
to you.
Yeah.
Deleterious. I like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
should we
She
change
said your hand
this-
was sweaty anyway.
So should we change the name of our podcast to Deleterious Waste of Time?
I don't think anyone would ever listen to it if we did.
Probably
It'd be
think we're talking about some sort of delicatessen.
It sounds like,
We're gonna make a
Are we
Reuben?
talking about sandwiches? Fabulous. So, was this episode a toxic waste of time, Ivy?
I think that of our 3 topics, non-toxic, toxic-ish, or toxic waste of time, I think this episode was pretty non-toxic.
I mean, the number of times that we said the word toxic, like, guys, if you want to go back and listen to this episode again, and every time we say the word toxic, do a shot.
Do a shot, yeah.
We are not responsible for anything that will occur afterwards. But if you want to do a bunch of shots and then leave us a comment, that would be funny.
That would be awesome.
So, yeah, I think it was great. This is very informative, and I liked how we kept it pretty general, but the things that we were saying really does apply kind of across the board. And I think that definition of, like, it's continuously harmful with no attempt to change it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
If you call somebody out and say, this made me uncomfortable, we need to work on this, and then they just continue and disregard that completely, repeatedly, girl, bye.
And if your toe socks keep cutting off your circulation at night, or if you are so obsessed with your toe socks that you're just sitting around staring at your toes and wiggling your little toes in your toe socks when you're supposed to be feeding the cat, then that's pretty toxic.
Yes. If you have spent all of your money on collecting every single color of collectible toe socks, then girl, I don't know. I feel like you might need to branch out.
Yeah, especially if you're hiding them under the dresser so that your boyfriend doesn't see them.
Can you imagine your boyfriend starts worrying that you're cheating on him and he pulls out all the drawers and he's like, why the fuck does she have 300 pairs of rainbow toe socks?
My husband,
who is this bitch?
My husband actually likes when I wear toe socks. I have some Christmas ones and they have a bell on the back of them. And
so you have a little bell on so they can hear Kitty coming?
There's a little bell on them. I don't think I've worn them since I became Kitty. But yeah, he likes the toe socks with my nightgown. I don't know. It's weird.
Jeez.
maybe the toe socks are toxic for him.
I have a toxic relationship with Milano cookies.
Oh.
I cannot open a bag of Milano cookies without eating the entire thing. It's bad.
Is it just with Milano cookies?
It's not, I mean, I'm sure there's other cookies, but those specific ones, Sean bought me a bag of them one time because I just had a mega craving for them. And I ate too many in a row. And then the top of my mouth was sore because of how I had been eating the cookies and just the texture of them kind of dries out your mouth, I guess. It was weird. And I realized maybe I need to put some distance between me and the Milanos because, honey,
well, the good thing,
they're not loving me back the same way.
The good thing for you is that at least Milano cookies are a small bag. It's not like an entire box of Oreos or something. But my superpower is that I can eat just one.
That's impressive.
It is impressive. I impress myself with that superpower. But I can tell you that Milano cookies, I could eat one sleeve of them, not the bag, but the little, they come in those little things.
Right. That's what I was trying to do. I'll eat 4 and I'll leave 1 in the sleeve.
They're so
because
good.
If I take that one out and then the new sleeve is visible, I'm going to eat all of them.
No, you leave
too.
the sleeve. You leave the sleeve. That's the trick. You leave the sleeve.
These are the consequences you have to place on yourself when you are assessing toxic relationships.
Right.
And yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
I had a toxic relationship with caffeine. I had to give that shit up. I told you about that, right?
You did, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of a toxic relationship with caffeine too, but I'm able to cut back on things. I have that ability. I can cut back instead of cutting things out. I now drink 1 beer at night when I used to drink 2 or 3, and then I realized I don't like being drunk. And I'm getting drunk from 2 beers, which is absolutely lame.
Because, listeners, Ivy is a tiny human being.
I mean, I will say what I always say to my son, who is a regular-sized human. I am a regular-sized human. Sonny's a little shorter than his brother, and he calls himself short, and so I always say, you are a regular-sized human.
Join us next week when we'll be talking about our relationships to technology and how that varies across recent generations. This one was interesting to me because I love calling out boomers. And Ivy loves explaining why Gen X is superior. So we've had a great time.
Needs no explanation. As always, thanks so much for listening. And if you've got something to say, leave a comment, like our podcast, and maybe share this episode with your work friend who also thinks Gerald sucks.
Yeah, or your friend whose boyfriend you don't like.
Or share it with Gerald. Come on, we might like Gerald. Our email address.
Gerald's hilarious.
Yeah, we love Gerald. Our email address is contact@toxicwasteoftime.com.